hello, everyone, and welcome to Chillin' with Millen. Today, I have my friend Donald Hampton on the call, and let me tell you, folks, we work together in the Cincinnati office. If there was a such thing as a president of the Cincinnati office, I'm pretty sure Donald would get all the votes because he's just that cool. So, Donald, would you introduce yourself to us, sir?
Thanks, Millen. That's a kind introduction. If it was presidents, I might want to recount. I don't know, but no, great to be here. I love the Chilling with Millen series. Always something to learn, which is great. So thanks for having me on, Millen. Here at Microsoft, my role, I'm an Azure infrastructure specialist. I'm in our sales organization. Essentially, I work with a defined set of customers in our retail consumer goods group. I'm just accountable for working with them and helping grow their footprint on our Azure platform. I work with lots of cross-functional teams, such as yourself, and a number of great folks in the Cincinnati area. So Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. And Donald, you know I like to start these out with a fun and unique fact, so give us yours.
All right. I don't know. I was giving some thought to this because, again, I knew it was coming. I see it on your other shows. But I guess mine would be I'm actually the only male in my entire family, whether it be cousins, brothers, dads, uncles, grandfathers, that's not a Marine.
Oh, wow.
So I have a unique appreciation for any service member to our country, and I think it's amazing what any service member in any branch of the military do, and from an armed services standpoint, sacrifice. But it also brings up some fun ribbing when we're together, right? And so it's fun, you know. We have a lot of fun with that, but. Just wanted to share that.
I love it. That's really cool. Well, Donald, without further ado, why don't you share your screen? Show us how you use Teams to achieve more.
Sure, will do. Thanks, Millen. Sorry, wrong screen.
Look at those beautiful kids.
Wrong screen. See, demo error.
Hey, no, I think this is a treat for our viewers, right? They want to see some cute kids.
1 second. Multiple screens here. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Here we go. All right. So we'll start out. Can you, number one, confirming you can see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Great. So Teams is an incredible platform, and I use it every day in my role. And I know the lens and the window frame that we're having this conversation of is from a salesperson's experience. So one, we'll talk a little bit about how I use Teams internally. And one is, you mentioned Cincinnati office. I have here our team up for the Cincinnati office and our general, and it's just a great way, I think, especially in this virtual world where we're in, where we're not physically in an office right now, as everyone continues to deal with the pandemic, and we work through this just as a country and as a company. It's a great way to stay connected. You see here our virtual coffees, Tech Olympics is coming up. We're looking for speakers. You're able to just have dialogue with folks, rally around some volunteer events that may be virtual, but it's still a great way to stay connected and make sure that we're still staying engaged and reaching out to our community here internally. Millen, I know you frequent that team as well from time to time.
I do. So. I really enjoy it. I love that when we all gather together, there's like jazz music playing in the background, and we're on together mode, which makes it cool because you can see everyone in that one pane of view. So yeah, I agree. It's really helped during COVID.
Awesome. Another way that I use Teams internally with my internal focus on is, I don't know about one thing that's just true, I think, of every salesperson is you're never, no sale or no opportunity to help a customer achieve what they want to do is ever done alone. So it requires often an army and a number of folks to work with. So for instance, I cover what's called a solution within Microsoft called Azure. So we have something called Azure Phone a Friend. And this is something where if you have a question and you need to ask, whether it be our program managers, our engineering team, all the other peers you have on the Azure team across the nation within our retail consumer goods group, you can just post a question here and quickly crowdsource an answer without having to spam email or know in particular the right person or team to go to. And it's a really great tool that I just find knocks down the silos and the barriers of working for a highly matrix company from time to time.
I love it, Donald. This is so important, because the old way of doing it would have been emailing a distribution list or, just, hey, do you know somebody that can help with this? But here you have that one-stop shop, which is great. And I know I have used this personally, and I've made some good friends, which is like a side benefit, right, of using this because it's such a big organization, like you said. But this makes it a little bit smaller when you have it in this channel.
That's right. That's right. So I love it. It's just a quick way to react, and at the end of the day, you put the customer at the forefront of what you're doing. Allows you to respond more quickly, allows you to meet their needs quickly, and to make sure that you're working together. A next way that I like to use Teams is it's a great feature. I don't know if it's been covered before. I want to make sure you're getting valuable new content, but there is something within Teams called praise. And praise for me is something that I use often, just because, again, as I said, we're cross-functional teams. Whether, for instance, we just had an RFI response for one of my customers. So in sales, you often get RFPs or RFIs where you need to fill out, you need to collaborate. But again, it's not one person doing it. You need input from maybe the product group, maybe legal, right, on legal responses, finance on pricing and things like that, marketing, um, architects for an architecture. So there's a number of teams that you pull together, you work with, and you can even spin up a quick channel in here to do that. And we often do. It allows you to store your files in one place, and we can talk about that in a minute. But once that RFI is submitted just last week, it's a little anticlimactic, but you want to thank everybody in the team, right? And you used to maybe get an email and type it up and send it to their manager, et cetera. But you're able to quickly here type a thank you, add people or a whole team. I could thank Millen here for what he's doing for us today, and we can add a note. You can preview it. I'll add a note later, but it would go out and it would be pinged to that channel or that person. So it's just a really great tool that I use that I think often goes a long way, and people seem to appreciate. You want to make sure that their work's acknowledged and that they feel valued.
What's interesting? First of all, thanks for covering this, Donald. There's an interesting way I've seen this used. I have one colleague that, they put this in their performance reviews. All the kudos and praises that they get, they actually put that in the performance review, and it's legitimate. Let me ask you this, Donald. When you have done this, and I know you do a good job at it, have you noticed the culture shifting a bit with that? Have you noticed the recipients are very grateful for it, or talk to me about that?
Yeah, I do, because again, in the grind of business sometimes, or in the fast-paced environment that we're working in, when you do have to work on cross-functional teams, and you may often always be, oh, Donald's hearing from me. The only time I hear from Donald is when he's asking me for something, right? You never want anyone to feel that way, and that's not a relationship that is reciprocal, right? Or that is going to make someone feel valued. And when they are a critical part, the reason you do reach out to them is so that because you do need them to be successful and to provide the service back to the customer that's necessary. It's so important to acknowledge that. And I've gotten great feedback. I think it goes a long way. They get a like, they get a thank you. They can reply to that praise. They say, "Oh, it was nothing," or "Thanks for sending this, Donald." I just think it's a good way to make sure that really the invaluable work that the team does, it's just a small thing to do that can acknowledge it. People want
See, I
their work
told
to
you,
be
folks.
acknowledged.
This is why Donald would be president of the Cincinnati office. He's giving out praises, making people feel valued. They love him. So, no, that's great. It was time well spent with that, Donald. So that's how you use it internally. How do you use it with your customers?
Uh, Great question. So as I move to our customers, the great thing about Teams is all of my customers are on Teams as well. I cover just a very finite set of customers, named accounts. So if I can come in here, there's some of a different orgs that I used to be along with, but there's a number of customers that I support that I can jump right into their Teams environment if I want, or they could come back into ours. And what that means, it's just not just, oh, I can instant message that person, but you're able to securely, in a compliant way, because you never want to sacrifice compliance or security or privacy. You're able to have a very tight connection with your customer to share content, to co-author even on documents, to track updates or statuses or scorecards, or whatever you may be doing from interacting or collaborating with that company. I find, again, it just helps to reduce confusion and provide that one pane of glass, that command center where you're going to interact together. And it cuts back on email and which email's been great to me. Sold it for a long time. It's put shoes on my kids' feet, but less of it is good now, right? There's a better way to work.
And you know what, Donald, that's a good point. With my customers, I even use it to build that relationship. So I'll be known to send them some memes or animated GIFs or those even praise with my customers, and it really builds that relationship, which is so important with COVID. Again, there's many customers I have not even met face to face during the pandemic, but because of the video calls, because of our collaboration, we're becoming friends, right? So that's pretty cool.
And this is something that I think can be, the next thing we'll talk about can be used for internal or external. But as we talk about collaborating with our customers and with our counterparts internally, when you add a new person to a team, so whether it be a new person comes onto the team I'm working with at my customer or internally, that history's there, right? So whether it be calendars or shared things or conversations or information that we've shared or just our regular meetings or presentations, it's all there. They have that context and that history, and it's a way for them to quickly be onboarded and fit right into the team there.
I like how you said that, Donald, because like you said, we've gone through a big reorganization at Microsoft. We all kind of got shifted around, but I've been invited to these teams, like you said, with that persistent chat, and I can see where the other person left off and have a seamless pickup. So very good point.
Yeah, and I would show some of that, but they're customer environments, and again, we're about privacy, so
totally understand.
The demo's a little bit lacking. The last thing, two more things. The last thing I had from a customer standpoint, we're Microsoft, we invented PowerPoint, we love PowerPoint, but when we interact with customers, a lot of times, Whiteboard, when we were in person, was a great tool that we would use just to collaborate and to do things ad hoc and to ideate, or to have, a Spark session where you're really helping whiteboard a scenario out to where you can do some architectures and use cases. And so I use in Teams, I often use, if I'm gonna change what I'm presenting here.
Yeah, let's show them how to do it.
Second, I often use our Whiteboard app.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna shift very quickly to sharing my whiteboard.
And while Donald's doing that, folks, if you just click on your share screen button in Teams, you will see Whiteboard will be an option there. That's how you launch it. All right, it's coming up for me, Donald. There we go.
And this is an interactive whiteboard, meaning this is one in which Millen, as he's in this meeting, he can also whiteboard with me. A great example. We're gonna play some tic-tac-toe, right? So I'll be red. That's my favorite color. And I put an O in, and Millen's gonna go next. We'll see.
You're too slow, Donald. You're too slow. Look at that.
All right. So that's all we wanted to show there. But again, it's a great way in this virtual world, right, that we're interacting in, to continue to just have those different mediums of collaboration and tools that help drive the conversation with your customers and also internally.
Yeah, because they can interact, like you said, they can interact with you. And I'm like this too, right? I like drawing on a board. I'm a visual person, so I'm happy for this tool. I think it's provided a lot of value. Right. Awesome. Well, Donald, as we are approaching the end of our time, I know a lot of sales folks might be watching. What is one, takeaway you would give them? Say, hey, what's one thing I can start to work on today to use it more effectively?
Great question, Millen. What I would say, and that I found just personally, is that Teams is it's deep and it's wide from what it has to offer, right? There's things we didn't touch on today that you've covered in other sessions that are valuable as well. And it can be overwhelming, and it can also, sometimes Teams can just get relegated to maybe an instant message tool or a quick collaboration tool. But it's so much more than that. So my recommendation is to set aside a half hour once a month, just as part of your learning, your continuous learning that you do, to continue to improve yourself, to just stay sharp on the team skills. Look to this channel as a great reference for that, because as you do pick up those tips and tricks, it's going to help you internally. It's going to help you with your customers, deliver a better experience for them. And that, at the end of the day, is what we're here to do. Right? Very cool. Donald, or should I say President Hampton, thank you so much for your time today. And we appreciate you chilling with Millen. Appreciate it, Millen. Thanks all.
We'll see ya. Bye.